What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including, could Vince McMahon now be imprisoned? John Laurinaitis says that he is the victim, Brock Lesnar being erased from WWE games and cancelled plans, Torrie Wilson was mortified by bikini matches, Rikishi wants Jacob Fatu in WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our channel Wrestlelamia Shorts, where we're now posting short videos. And now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at more fallout from the Vince McMahon lawsuit. At top of today's news are more reports concerning the recent lawsuit filed against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE. It appears the lawsuit is having a domino effect, not only with the parties being sued, but the WWE's plans for WrestleMania. So could Vince McMahon be in prison now? There's breaking news concerning Vince McMahon, as the Wall Street Journal is reporting federal authorities have been investigating sexual assault and trafficking allegations against WWE co-founder Vince McMahon, according to people familiar with the investigation. Prosecutors in New York in recent months have been in contact with women who have accused McMahon of sexual misconduct, the people said. The Journal reported elaborated on the federal search warrant executed last summer, as well as a subpoena issued to McMahon. Over the summer, federal agents executed a search warrant for McMahon's phone and delivered a subpoena to him for documents related to any allegation of rape, sex trafficking, sexual assault, commercial sex transactions, harassment, or discrimination against current or former WWE employees. Next up, a shocking development in the Vince McMahon lawsuit. In related news, there's a shocking development in the previously discussed lawsuit by former WWE employee Janelle Grant. Laurinaitis' defense attorney Edward Brennan recently told Vice News that Mr. Laurinaitis denies the allegations in the misguided complaint and will be vigorously defending these charges in court, not the media. Like the plaintiff, Mr. Laurinaitis is a victim in this case, not a predator. The truth will come out. If you read the complaint, you may be baffled by Laurinaitis' attorney arguing that the defendant was a victim. However, he's arguing, read the allegations, read the federal statute, power, control, employment, supervisory capacity, dictatorial sexual demands with repercussions if not met. Count how many times in the claim Vince asserts control over both of them. Now, while we aren't making a legal opinion, it sounds like Laurinaitis is claiming that he had no choice but to give in to Vince McMahon's alleged demands. Whether or not Laurinaitis can prevail with his claim in court should prove interesting. One thing is worth noting, many observers believe that Laurinaitis' defense could impact any case against McMahon, as Laurinaitis appears to be backing up Janelle Grant's claims against McMahon. Although this isn't conclusive proof of the allegations, it could prove problematic to McMahon's defense. Next up, Brock Lesnar is being erased from WWE games. Now, the fallout from the lawsuit against Vince McMahon continues as Brock Lesnar has disappeared from the WWE Supercard online game. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reports this is just the start, as Lesnar is expected to vanish from other licensed products such as the WWE 2K series. It would appear that 2K as a licensee for WWE is following the company's lead after WWE backed off on using Lesnar last weekend at the Royal Rumble event. Lesnar was slated to return and begin his WrestleMania season storyline, but in the wake of the Janelle Grant lawsuit filed against WWE, Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis several days before, we are told the company chose to withdraw Lesnar's involvement. Although Lesnar is not being sued, he allegedly made what PW Insider described as disgusting requests from Miss Grant. Consequently, Lesnar appears to be persona non grata, with Mike Johnson adding, going forward, PWInsider.com has been told by sources familiar to the matter that we should expect to see Lesnar downplayed, if not outright removed as he was in the Supercard game, as much as possible going forward by 2K and potential other licensees. Dave Meltzer reported earlier this week that Lesnar may be done entirely with the WWE, and added in this week's Observer, there are no plans at this time to use Lesnar. Given his star power, saying this is forever is probably foolish, but it's likely not going to be anytime soon. Lesnar has been the company's first or second highest paid wrestler and one of its most protected stars for the past dozen years, and the fact that he's out of WrestleMania and his future is in jeopardy is amazing because of how little attention it's gotten. Meltzer noted that WWE's plans for Lesnar was to appear in the Rumble, then face Dominic Mysterio at Elimination Chamber, and this would have mirrored the scenario where Dominic eliminated Bron Breakker, then challenged Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40. Also, in an update by PW Insider, WWEshop.com has placed 99% of all merchandise related to Brock Lesnar on discount sale. In speaking to WWE sources today, we are told that going forward, Lesnar is off the table from all creative pitches. Is this really the end of Brock Lesnar? Next up, WWE changes the time of WrestleMania. Now speaking of WrestleMania, it seems that WrestleVotes has reported that WWE has made the call to change WrestleMania's start time. WrestleVotes recently tweeted, "Sources states WWE has made the decision to change the WrestleMania start time. The main card will now begin at 7 PM Eastern Time, presumably with a kickoff show starting at 5 PM Eastern Time. This will be for both nights of WrestleMania." Now this will be a huge W for all fans, and I'm talking about UK fans as well, as we'll now be watching WrestleMania an hour earlier. WrestleMania is long, we can be up until like 5 AM sometimes, and then we gotta actually do the work. Next up is Seth Rollins vs Cody Rhodes happening at WrestleMania. Now it appears that CM Punk's recent injury along with Brock Lesnar being pulled from the Royal Rumble has created a domino effect for the WWE's original plans for WrestleMania 40, at least that's how Dave Meltzer is describing things. Meltzer is reporting in this week's Observer that, regarding the obvious rumor that would have come out of Raw on 29th January since they had Rollins heavily push Rhodes to choose him, it could result in a situation where Rollins vs Rhodes would headline one night and Reigns vs Rock would headline the other. If that was the case, it would have been a decision made after Punk was injured. Meltzer mused that fans should know the answer to this soon. We don't have an answer to this at press time, and we're only told the answer to that question is about to be revealed sooner than later, and in fact very shortly after this published, which would indicate either on SmackDown or just before or after the show. It appears that this year's WrestleMania could see one of the biggest shakeups to the card in the event's history. As for The Rock vs Roman at WrestleMania 40, Dave Meltzer is reporting there are still discussions of booking the match in Saudi Arabia so the WWE and The Rock can get more money from the Saudi government for hosting it there. Next up, Torrie Wilson says she was mortified by bikini matches. Torrie Wilson is opening up about her bikini matches in WWE and how it not only affected her but other divas. Wilson recently spoke with Chris Van Vliet and shared her recollections of what it was like doing bikini matches. They were all mortifying, people don't realize. I went out there and owned it the best I could and pushed through the fear, but it was mortifying. There were times that I remember specifically a house show that I was in this bikini showdown with Dawn Marie and Sable and someone else. Wilson explained that she wasn't the only person involved in the match that was negatively affected. I was standing in the corner watching one of the girls dance in the middle and literally fighting back the tears. Like, I cannot believe I'm doing this right now. Because it got to like a raunchy point and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this, but that was also my job. Van Vliet asked Wilson why she didn't say no to doing the matches with the WWE Hall of Famer, answering, "No, it was twice that I could remember that I said no. First of all, I'm a major people pleaser, so to say no to people is really hard, even if it's someone you know. I'm recovering from that." Wilson said she did refuse to wear body paint, as Sable famously did. As for posing for Playboy, Wilson had no problem doing it, noting, "I thought it's photos, I know it's gonna look good and it's Playboy. To be honest, this is gonna sound real dumb, but I hadn't really even thought about the fact that I was kinda gonna be nude because Playboy was such a popular magazine. I was like, this is gonna be awesome, right? Playboy parties and all that." Wilson said the photo shoot was awkward at times as there were people in the room besides the photographer. She said she drew the line when Vince McMahon asked her to participate in the Playboy pay-per-view, which she described as very hardcore pressed. Next up, Rhea Ripley ready for anything or anyone at Elimination Chamber. The current women's champion Rhea Ripley has a huge homecoming ahead of her as the WWE brings its Elimination Chamber PLE to Rhea's Australian hometown of Perth. The Eradicator recently commented on how she would feel about defending her title against 5 other wrestlers in the Elimination Chamber match. "I've done it before, let's be honest here, I love a bit of brutality. Give me some steel, give me some weapons, give me some pods, I don't care, I love all that stuff. I live for this." Rhea recently expressed her desire to defend the title against Bayley in an Iron Woman match at WrestleMania 40, however a new report suggests Ripley will defend the championship against Nia at Elimination Chamber. This makes some sense following Jax's attack on Ripley on the 29th January Raw. As for Ripley vs Bayley, the current belief is that Becky Lynch will challenge Ripley at WrestleMania 40 while Bayley fights Io Sky. Who would you guys like to see Ripley battle at Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 40? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Rikishi argues it's time for WWE to hire Jacob Fatu. Should the WWE hire free agent Jacob Fatu, aka the Samoan Werewolf? Rikishi is making the case on X, arguing Jacob Fatu, if you know then you know, has been the baddest talented indie worker on the scene. It's time. Who will sign him, WWE or AEW? He's been ready. He's had a successful run in Major League Wrestling as the company's longest reigning world champion, and he's also kept busy on the indie circuit and in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And finally, Cathy Kelley's Raw reunion with Mami. And last but not least, good news for WWE backstage interviewer Cathy Kelley as Kelley's moved from SmackDown to Raw. Even better for Kelley, she means that she can be with her BFF Rhea Ripley, as she tweeted, "It was a good run SmackDown, but I gotta get to my mommy." Kelley also posted a hilarious TikTok video of her and Rhea's touching reunion, which we recommend you check out. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.